Hello and welcome to WTN Presents, the interview show everyone's thinking about talking about.
Hello and welcome to WTN Presents. My name is Lewis Zymura and I'm your host. Today we are going to be exploring American politics at the local level. Joining me for this discussion is host Grigsby. Mr. Grigsby is running for Homeowners Association President in the city of Newfriken. Newfriken is home to 8,000 residents and is located in central Ohio. Mr. Grigsby, welcome to WTN Presents. Thank you, Lewis, for having me on your family program. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak to families. You know, in Newfriken, we have a saying that all families deserve to be treated as units. And I think that speaks for our community. It's nice to see people come together. So, Mr. Grigsby, you're campaigning for Newfriken HOA President, and it looks like you're facing rather stiff competition. How is the campaign holding up? Well, Lewis, I was thinking about this the other day when I was splitting some oak logs. It's like, let's see if we can create a small government solution for Newfriken. So, Hoss, do you have a campaign slogan? Yes, it's Hoss for Boss, size matters. Right, so you are running on a platform of small government. Talk about this for our listeners. Sure, Lewis. In fact, I was just talking with this the other day with some of my Roblox friends. In this case, small means very small. Lots of politicians talk about small government. My plans truly implement small government. And by small, I mean minuscule. It's one person, me. You can't get smaller than one person. That's the beauty of my plan. One person, one voice for everyone. Forgive me here, Mr. Grigsby, but one person in control of everything sounds a bit like a dictatorship, no? Actually, it's more than that. I was thinking of these issues the other day when I was instant messaging, IMing with some of my folks in the jazz music area. I was actually DMing some folks. And so that's how you bring folks together. You have to shine a light on these things. You know how compromising works in limited government is when you have the smallest government possible. One person, and then you can have true compromise. And this is something I bring up with my friends at the local skateboarding park. Because when you look at it objectively, the measures will pass with 100% support. And that's a beautiful thing my campaign is offering, is this ability to transcend and rise above this bickering. And it's really possible when we can learn to love and respect our fellow citizens. So this is real, this idea that you get elected and then abolish the HOA board. This is an actual thing. It's as real as bass fishing on a summer evening. Look, as I said when we started talking, it's about treating each Newfriken family as a unit, and that means unity, and unity means one. I am that one voice that speaks for all of Newfriken. A lot of my gaming friends, mainly those of us that enjoy Among Us, really appreciate this. It's a fresh approach. So, we've covered your political philosophy. Let's take a dive into some of the specific issues at stake. Your opponents are saying that you want to cut Newfriken off from the internet. Is this true? Well, that is patently false. I'm simply talking about blocking access to one site out of the entire internet. Oh, well, then much ado about nothing. Which site would you block? The Google. Sweet creamed caps. Google? But Google is the most trafficked site on the internet. It's a search tool. Why would you block Google? Well, you said it yourself. It's a search tool, a global search. And that goes against the values of Newfriken. Newfrikeners don't need to search across the world. We have everything we need right here, Lewis. Well, having toured the area personally, I agree it's lovely. But now, I was surprised to learn about your position on Newfriken Park. You propose to close the park. But Mr. Grigsby, I've walked the grounds. It's a beautiful, undeveloped natural space. Lewis, beauty can be a beast. The park is dangerous. We have to close it. We're talking about ticks, rabies, and other animal and plant-based hazards. As you know, over 99% of fatalities occur on the Earth's surface. And so there's a stewardship responsibility we need to honor. Look, this isn't about me. This is about a better future. But under your proposal, this future of the parkland, it would be under your control, you and you alone. So logically, people will want to know, what is Horst Grigsby going to do with the park property? It's over 200 acres. See, this is where we need to understand representative democracy and the rule of lawyers. As the representative, using my small government principles, the people can now truly speak with one voice. They speak through me, and that's something I take seriously, and it's a beautiful thing for the community. But so what will you do with the parkland? So my concept here is that we need to let capitalism guide us. Let the free market and competition show us the way. So people will hear this and say, Horst is going to privatize the parkland, selling it off to the highest bidder, then put a mall there, or big box stores, or car dealerships. Does Newfriken need that? I don't know. Nobody knows. Only one person knows, and that's the market, the free marketing. What I do know is that Newfriken will never get rabies under my watch. Okay, now in a recent survey, it looks like Newfriken residents favor leaving the park undeveloped. This is because they can't understand my plan. This is exactly why I will be president. But in this independent survey, 100% of respondents said they love the park. Your plan has literally zero support, and that's a fact, Mr. Grigsby. You know what I say when people use information to try and contradict me? I say that facts is just facts. I say, you know where these facts came from? They came from a fax machine. You know what nobody uses anymore? A fax machine. One of your opponents, Mary Martin, was asked her opinion of you. She said, and I'm quoting directly, Horst Grigsby is a dumbass with dumbass ideas. Well, that's cute, but it's this soundbite thing in the context of all her words is absent. Well then, let me read the entire exchange with the reporter. The reporter asks, quote, does Horst Grigsby worry you going into election season? Her entire response, again I'm quoting, Horst is an example of the worst humanity has to offer. Horst Grigsby is a dumbass with dumbass ideas. End of discussion. Well, as the great Abraham Lincoln said, fool me twice, shame on those who can't be fooled all the time. Okay, so in your previous work at the Newfriken Mines, you rose to the position of Director of Mine Safety, a high executive with the ability to call full stop to mine operations in the event of a safety risk. Under your watch, there was a preventable accident in which 50 people died. People want to know, why should we vote for a person that could have and possibly should have prevented this tragedy? This is difficult to discuss. Look, Everyone wants to talk about how many died. Here's the thing, nobody, especially my opponents, want to talk about how many people lived that day. Surely 50 people did die, but almost 50 didn't die. They lived. And these people, most of them work in our front office in the call center, really are glad they lived, and I consider it a win for the entire community. In fact, a win for the entire nation. Well, speaking of national politics, we have a national political figure joining us now. Former United States President Bill Clinton joins the discussion. Welcome, President Clinton.
Thank you, Lewis, for having me on. I am a really big WTN fan. You guys are great. And Hoss Grigsby is a name that I couldn't resist. And Newfriken is truly blessed to have Hoss in the race.
These are such kind words. I'm so happy to speak with you, Mr. President.
Hoss, it's really a gift not only to Newfriken, but to all the American people that you are running. I hear your polling is pretty low, but it's important not to get discouraged. I had some challenges during my presidency, and I found it helpful to keep my eyes on the prizes. And let me tell you, prizes come in many, many shapes and sizes.
Indeed. President Clinton, what drew you to Hoss Grigsby and his campaign for HOA President?
Well, Newfriken it's a beautiful place filled with beautiful people, and Hoss is a beautiful person that is a shining star.
But on the main, the two of you have striking political differences. We do and we don't. I feel like we have a lot in common.
Yes and no. I can say, people have called me many, many things, but nobody has ever called me a dumbass with dumbass ideas.
Well said, Mr. President. We will have to conclude this episode of WTN Presents, but a special thanks to our guests, Hoss Grigsby and former President Clinton. We hope to have you both on again soon. All the best. Yes, and thank you, Lewis.
Thank you, Lewis. Hoss, get this done.
And thanks to our listeners and supporters. This is Lewis Zymura signing off.
Thank you for listening to this episode of WTN Presents. The next time you're in a conversation, please think about talking about WTN. WTN presents WTN presents WTN presents WTN.